To value truth is to see the beauty in the way a thing actually is, rather than your fantasy or desire for how it should be in order to suit you. So as you grow and develop this muscle over the decades, ultimately the whole point of all this, what it's all going to culminate in, it's all going to culminate in you being so strong and so accepting and so open to reality that you will see things exactly as they are. You will cut through all the bullshit, and you're going to be in love with that. And you're going to be in love with reality exactly as it is. And that is the highest power and the greatest gift, is to see the beauty in things exactly as they are, rather than in how you need them to be for your petty, selfish purposes. You see? And that's the ultimate strength. Because what you'll find is that reality rarely aligns with what you need it to be, but reality is always identical to what it is, how it is for itself rather than for you. And so if you can just start to love reality, not for how it serves you, but for how it actually is, then in a certain sense, you've conquered the whole challenge of reality. Now you can be filled with love, because if your sort of conception of love is that reality has to be the way I want it to be, and then only then will I love it, then you're going to hate life. That's a recipe for hatred of life. But if instead you say, aha, that's not going to work because I got a bunch of finite fantasies and I'm a selfish, biased asshole, so I shouldn't expect reality to suit, my selfish biases. And instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transform myself and expand myself in order to suit reality as it actually is. Your reward for doing that will be endless love. You're going to literally fall in love with reality. And reality is such a gargantuan and stark thing that it's difficult to fall in love with it. That's the challenge. That's the whole challenge of life. How do you fall in love with life exactly as it is? That's the challenge. That's what all spirituality boils down to. That's the core of spirituality. The less truthful you are, the more fearful you're going to be. So another benefit of pursuing truth for decades is that you're going to become fearless. The more fantasies you subscribe to, the more truth will threaten you. This creates avoidance dynamics within you, and it creates dysfunctional patterns within you. And then living with these avoidance dynamics and dysfunctional patterns, this is not a pleasant life. This is not the good life. And in general, whenever you experience fear, this is a clue to falsehood. Fear betrays falsehood in a situation. If you're afraid of something, then that's your clue that somehow you're not seeing the truth of the situation. Because the truth is that all fear is coming from bias and from selfishness. Fear is not inherent to reality. Fear is your response to reality not suiting your own selfish needs. Here's a list of common ways that people avoid truth: religion, science, philosophy, drugs and alcohol, food, media, entertainment, video games, humor, comedy, sex, relationships, romance, socialization, family, work, career, business, making yourself very busy, communities, tribes, groups, and cults. You fear facing truth because of what it might mean for how you must restructure your life. See, that's the rub here, is that when you commit yourself to facing truth all the time, that truth is like a signal. It's feedback basically from the universe. It's a feedback mechanism from the universe that is telling you how you need to realign your life. And then if you do that and you listen to those messages and you keep realigning and realigning and realigning your life more and more and more with truth, you have to restructure your life. That's difficult. But if you keep doing that work, then this is how you build the good life, so to speak. So for example, you fear quitting your career if you realize that your career isn't serving the highest good. You're going to have to quit. You fear ending a relationship if you fully see the dysfunction in the relationship. You fear giving up a guilty pleasure. You fear giving up your coping mechanisms. You fear losing your religion. You fear giving up science and rationality. You fear admitting you've been wrong. You fear admitting you were a fool. You fear your true motivations. You fear admitting your dark side. You fear looking at your own selfishness and devilry, of how you contribute to corruption and evil. You fear doing serious work. You want to be lazy. You fear realizing that you're not as developed as you thought you were, that you're not as spiritual as you thought you were. You fear seeing how you've been using spirituality to actually boost your ego and to be more of a devil. You fear realizing how much time you've wasted in your life doing stupid, selfish things. You fear seeing the collateral damage of your actions and way of life. You fear empathizing with the suffering of others. You fear not knowing and uncertainty. You fear facing your biases and hypocrisies and giving that up. And by forcing yourself to confront the truth on a daily basis, it's going to force you to realign your life, restructure your life in all these different ways. And then your life will become wholesome and pure. And then you will fall in love with life, and you will see the beauty of life, because you will realize that the whole secret to living a good life always was living in truth. And the reason your life is so dysfunctional and problematic is that you were not living in truth. And nobody in society really showed you how or told you the importance of aligning your life with truth. You were just living for convenience, for comfort, for the easy life, for pleasure, just kind of like going along with the herd. And as it turns out, you can't live a good life that way. Surprise, surprise. A good life must be built on a foundation of truth. But society is mostly built on and run on illusions, fantasies, and convenient constructions. So society and culture will pull you towards falsehood. Therefore, a life based on truth is going to be rare and difficult, because you're going to have to go against the grain of society and culture. It's going to require independence of mind and courage, and it's going to require fearlessness.